Housing demand in America remaining strong. The Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis showing new home listings rising to 439,000 in March. That's up over 50,000 units since February. Joining us now here on set, Sotheby's international broker and global real estate advisor, Jenna Stauffer. Jenna, good morning.
Good morning.
So you say that we're in a tale of two markets. What do you mean?
We are in a tale of two markets right now. So obviously geopolitical tensions, the war in Iran, rising energy costs, that of course feeds into mortgage rates and buyer psychology. But what we're really seeing play out right now is this tale of two markets, where on the luxury end, the high end, this is where you really see strength. So these buyers, they're just playing a completely different game. They're not sensitive to rates. And of course, their financial assets have been on fire. The stock market has been hitting record highs, and when that happens, money moves. And we're really seeing it move from financial assets into real assets like real estate. Now, on the other end, and this is what's frustrating for millions of Americans, is that they're completely held back from getting into the housing market because of affordability. They're just getting hit from every direction. So until we see affordability really start to ease, you're going to see that strain on the bottom end, but then strength on the top.
Well, in the luxury market, I mean, you have a much higher percentage of potential buyers who are willing to come to the table with all cash offers, too. So that's actually one of the reasons the only home builder play that we've had in our portfolio over the course of the last 6 to 12 months has been Toll Brothers, because they are building higher end homes, million plus typically, as opposed to like a D.R. Horton, which is more focused on like entry level, move up. Question for you though. I'm a little concerned about the short-term vacation rental bubble that seemed to kind of surface, really post-COVID, specifically in Sunbelt areas like Florida. Everyone seemed to have an Airbnb. I could open up Instagram. Everyone told me how to make $1 million a month by owning, 14 Airbnbs, all that stuff. Are you concerned that that is going to flood the market with too much supply at some point?
Well, we have too much supply in Florida, just as it is right now. And this is why we've really seen a softening in prices in Florida. Florida is going through a correction. Now, there's a lot of opportunities in Florida. What we're starting to see really happen in Florida are these comeback buyers. So these were buyers that were waiting for perfect conditions. They were waiting for prices to go down even further. They were waiting for rates to go down, and they're realizing the perfect condition, it doesn't exist. Life happens. So you're starting to see these buyers, specifically in Sunbelt states, move back into the market. And guess what? You're seeing sellers start to meet them in the middle, which sellers were not doing before.
It's clear that we have a real housing problem, though, in this country, right? Everyone's talked about it for years. Mortgages are high, prices are high, et cetera. Here's an idea that I think is excellent, and I don't know why Congress doesn't get on board with it, in a reconciliation bill that they're talking about, which is basically indexing capital gains people have earned on their homes to inflation. Because there are a lot of people out there who bought a house 40 years ago. They literally cannot afford to sell it because the capital gains tax would be so enormous, and they don't have the cash to do that and then also move into another home. It would be great to see your industry sort of take that up as a cause, because it's a fairness cause. It's fair to older people who have homes that they would like to sell, but they can't. And do you ever hear people talking about that when you're out visiting with would-be sellers? Is that something they hear about?
I just heard about it last week from a client. He does not want to sell his property because when he sells it, it has gone up so much in value that the capital gain tax that he's going to have to pay is going to be outrageous. And that capital gain tax is really from 1997, I believe. We have to update that for sure.
And again, if it was indexed for inflation, excuse me, that would remove that problem.
I also want to ask you about something else that within the industry, because the Department of Housing and Urban Development is now allowing real estate agents to share information on, I think this is interesting, crime and schools with prospective home buyers. This is not going to be in violation of the Fair Housing Act, Jenna. I wanted to get your thoughts on that, because that's very crucial for some markets.
It is crucial, but look, transparency, that's key in housing. You're making one of the biggest purchases of your life, and I think buyers deserve to know all the information.
Yeah. Well, also, too, you mentioned this earlier, but interest rates. I mean, we've actually, the Fed's meeting this week. Tomorrow is going to be the decision. We're not expecting a move, but we're still on the 30-year fix above 6%. And I don't think that's going to be changing anytime in the next few months. So, and this is spring selling right now, spring season, but it doesn't look good for it doesn't look good for the market, unfortunately.
It was nice, right? It was in February, right before the war in Iran. We did see those mortgage rates go under 6%. And that is so helpful for those on the margin buyers, first-time home buyers,
Yeah,
too.
it's hurting. Before you go, I have to ask you about this. As an agent in Florida, what are you hearing about the pied-à-terre tax that the New York City mayor is now proposing?
Well,
Another flight of money out of New York to Florida? Is that what we're talking?
So money goes where money is treated well, and that's really why Florida has seen the largest wealth migration in the country. And this is something that could bring more residents into our Sunshine State.
Jenna Stauffer, it's always great to talk to you. Florida's still winning. It's great to see you. Thank you for being on set with us. We'll be right back, everybody. You're watching Mornings with Maria, live on Fox Business.